Guardians, today I give you the baddest, coldest, nastiest build yet. We have shown exactly 0 love to Stasis on this channel, and it's time we fix that. So today I give you all a Warlock build I previewed on BravexHero's channel and have spent the last few weeks optimizing to make it even crazier than in that video, which, by the way, link down in the description. We have infinite super energy, insanely high damage outputs, room for all 3 of the champion mods, and probably the most broken combo I've ever seen for Overload champions yet.
But if you call right now...
Dude, can we go one video without giving the viewers an ad?
Fine, sure.
Well, actually, I can't because, guys, a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. Speaking as someone who can and will burn a bowl of cereal...
He burnt my shake.
HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, providing fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. With New Year's right around the corner, HelloFresh will ensure y'all don't look like me with a literal egg and hit those goals with calorie smart or carb smart recipes. With over 35 weekly recipes, there are more choices than you guys have when trying out my builds. Ingredients are fresh, only traveling from farm to you in less than 7 days. Recipes are fast and easy, and above all, the food is delicious. Genuine story, by the way, guys. My wife and I tried HelloFresh back in college, and we have recipes that we discovered from HelloFresh that we are still making today. So Guardians, try HelloFresh today by using the link down in the description for 21 free meals plus free shipping, and save money by enjoying better, fresher food. Another huge thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get to making everything in-game a popsicle. So jumping straight into our Stasis kit, we are running the only super we have. Wow. Exciting. Anyway, our super will honestly just be a storage for higher damage output. We may not end up even using it. More on that later. Rift, jump. Yep, nobody cares. For our melee, we have a whopping 1 option, so yeah. And finally, to something that matters. For our grenade, we are running Duskfield grenades. Now, instantly you're probably thinking, oh smart, Duskfields have a short cooldown. Well, unfortunately, we're running the Bleak Watcher aspect, which makes all the cooldowns the longest cooldown, which is the Glacier grenade. But this shouldn't really matter. There will be plenty of ability energy. Now, I know you're probably wondering why we aren't doing the Glacier grenade, aka
Ice Wall coming up,
paired with Whisper of Shards. Well, the main reason is we are going to be using the Bleak Watcher aspect and leaning heavily into that. So the Glacier Grenade's utility in a pinch doesn't quite hit the mark. That said, if you have a variant that uses the Glacier Grenade, drop it down in the comments and I'll take a look at your wall building craziness. Moving into our aspects, we are running Glacial Harvest, which will create shards around frozen targets, and the amount of shards depends on the class of enemy which you can see on screen. The goal of this build is freeze all the things all the time, so shards will be everywhere. For our second aspect, we are running the Bleak Watcher aspect, aka Stacy, aka
Bingo!
Guys, I'm sorry for all the Overwatch references. I've been playing a ton of Overwatch.
Yeah, can you do other jokes?
I don't remember asking you. Moving into our fragments, we have Whisper of Bonds, which will give us 2.5% bonus super energy on frozen enemy kills. This is a key part of the engine of this build. Next, we have Whisper of Fissures, which increases both the damage and burst when destroying a stasis crystal or defeating a frozen enemy. Next, Whisper of Refraction will give us a small amount of class ability energy when defeating a frozen or slowed target. Given that our exotic weapon of choice will have the entire world frozen, this will come in handy for survivability. Finally, you have a choice.
Say what?
If you have incurable laziness like me, I would run Whisper of Conductions to have all of these shards tracked to you for collection. That said, if you want those turrets to last
All night long!
Whisper of Durance is what I would substitute in to boost the duration of our Stasis turret, our Duskfield grenades, and the slow from both of those abilities on enemies. Moving straight into our weapons, in our kinetic or Stasis slot, we have one of the stars of our build, Aegir's Scepter. Aegir's Scepter, first debuting in Season 15 with a catalyst that might have taken out a certain content creator's liver, is an exotic Stasis trace rifle. Available from the Monument to Lost Lights as long as you own Beyond Light, Aegir's Scepter comes with the perk Aegir's Call, which generates a slowing burst after defeating a target. Paired with Riga's Refrain, its intrinsic perk, which transfers ammo from reserves on a final blow, you can already see that Aegir's is a phenomenal crowd control option. Add its catalyst to the conversation and Aegir's becomes insanely strong, and actually a weapon that I would add to the conversation of top exotics in the kinetic or Stasis slot.
Oh shit, that's a hot take, Tiggs.
Bro, I know everyone and their mothers are probably like Lamau Arbalist or nothing, but going voop bap gets boring.
Linear main fans aren't gonna like this.
I said what I said. Aegir's Catalyst allows you to use Will Given Form, which at the cost of some of your super energy overflows the magazine to 192 rounds, boosts damage by 80%, and applies 20 slow stacks per hit, which can and will freeze enemies. If Mei was running around with Aegir's in my comp games in Overwatch, I would have uninstalled years ago because she would have been a literal ice demon. You can disable Will Given Form by reloading Aegir's, stowing the weapon, or by running out of super energy. So at its core, Aegir's is a very, very good crowd control option, but with its Catalyst, it becomes a versatile tool of destruction, which also makes a very good band name.
Versatile tool of destruction.
Moving next to our energy slot, we have a fairly open choice. I mentioned at the beginning we would have all 3 champ mods, and Overload and Unstop are sorted with mods later, so this slot I had reserved for Anti-Barrier, which means Pulse or Bow this season. I have been running a BXR I have with Pugilist and Incandescent for additional melee energy and a dope crowd control option, but if you have a Bow or Pulse with Demolitionist, I would highly recommend that so you can throw turret after turret. Finally, in the heavy slot, I have been running, you guessed it, a Vootbap in the form of Reed's Regret, but anything in this slot will work. Try and pick Stasis if you can, because, well, you know, shenanigans yet to be discussed, and I'm sure some of you know why. That said, with how powerful Aegir's is in this build, I doubt you'll even use your heavy, but hey, knowing it's there is like a hand on our shoulder from our Lord and Savior, Apathetic. Armor and mods. But first, our exotic of choice. The final main character of this build, we have Mantle of Battle Harmony, aka
Bungie, we need an ornament for the love of God.
with the perk Absorption Cells, which grants super energy for takedowns using the same subclass element type. But when your super energy is full, it instead grants a 20% damage bonus for 6 seconds. So this combined with Aegir's will mean super energy goes, and once full, damage goes. So yeah, this combo on its own is insanely strong. But guys, come on, I know you. Mods. On our helmet, we are running Harmonic Siphon because Aegir's will be creating mass unalive at an obscene pace, which means orbs. Lots of orbs. Next, we have a trace rifle ammo finder, given that the focus of our build is a special weapon and it needs ammo. That said, substitute this for other mods if you'd like. Our final mod here is Font of Might, which will give us 25% bonus damage to our stasis weapons after picking up a stasis elemental well for 11 seconds. Gameplay loop and dumb stacking stuff coming later, which you guys know as Teagues has fun with arrows time. But I will say Font of Might stacks with everything. Get excited is all I'm trying to say. Lots of arrows inbound. Next on our gloves, we have your anti-barrier mod of choice if you're in an activity that needs an anti-barrier mod. If you're not in an activity asking for an anti-barrier mod, double stack our next mod, Impact Induction, like an in and out double-double. Impact Induction will give us a bonus to grenade cooldown by dealing damage with a melee attack. Finally on our gloves, my favorite mod that says, but wait, wouldn't 2 be better? Bountiful Wells. Basically, all this means is 1 copy of an elemental well creation mod now makes 2. Add another and now you have 3, because maths. Moving to our chest, Mantle of Battle Harmony, Trace Rifle Ammo Reserves, because what else would you put? Resist mod, I guess, if you want.
Bungie, some mod diversity here would be dope because class items are a literal mess right now.
And finally, a mod you all have harassed me about in the comments that I have yet to use in these builds, Elemental Time Dilation. What this mod is going to do for us is make Font of Might's duration go from 11 seconds to 14 seconds of that 25% damage bonus.
Oh, so it makes it last longer too?
Bro, don't be weird about it.
What? I was just...
Moving on our legs, we have a Trace Rifle Scavenger, Innervation, which will put those orbs from Harmonic Siphon straight back into our grenade cooldown, and finally Elemental Armaments, which will allow Aegir's and our Stasis Heavy to create Stasis Elemental Orbs. Now to our class item. Guys, the other guy asking for some space on our class item really has a point, because I quite literally have over 5 different variations of mod combos here, depending on your activity. Starting with the build that gives you all of the champ mods, using 2 of our seasonal artifact mods, we have Low Entropy Superconductor, which will make that weird Gandalf melee thing stagger unstoppable champions, and Lord Kelvin's Basilisk, which will make our Stasis Grenades stun Overload champions. Now let's pause here for a second.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Dusk Fields are amazing for stun locking Overload champions, but it definitely comes in second to what in my opinion is a ridiculously powerful combo. Our Stasis turret paired with Lord Kelvin's Basilisk will, yes will, stun Overload champions. Watch this. A single Stasis turret will stun a champion and basically hit the pause button on an entire group of ads. This is insanely valuable for high level content. Finally, on our class item, we have elemental shards that will take all of our Stasis shards that Glacial Harvest, Aegers, and our abilities will create, and we'll have them functioning as elemental wells. Now, they won't grant ability energy, but they will ensure that Font of Might is really never not active. Now, for some variation on our class item mods, a mod that I would absolutely bring into the fold in any variation of this build is another seasonal artifact mod, Monochromatic Maestro. Dealing damage with your stasis abilities provides a 10% damage bonus to our stasis weapons, and dealing damage with our stasis weapons boosts our stasis ability damage by the same amount. This mod should be in several of your builds this season. Now, I did mention that we have more combos, so jumping straight in, really the world is yours here. But some combos that I would run are Lord Kelvin's with Bomber, either Lord Kelvin's or Superconductor with Monochromatic Maestro, for great finisher focus build, restorative finisher, and special finisher. If you want a high damage version of this build, high energy fire sub in for elemental time dilation, and elemental charge subbed in for bountiful wells, and finally solo operative subbed in for solo content. There are so many great options for optimizing this build for the content that you are playing, so please customize this, make it your own, and let me know if you find the combo down in the comments. Y'all gotta share the sauce with your fellow guardians. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's Teagues' Arrow, horrifically complicated and hard to edit gameplay loop arrow drawing bonanza. Brought to you by arrow.png. Starting with Aegers. Aegers will freeze nearby enemies on kills and generate stasis shards from Glacial Harvest, which will then count as stasis elemental wells. Each of these stasis kills will flow into absorption cells, granting us bonus super energy. Elemental armaments will be creating stasis elemental wells, and Harmonic Siphon will have orbs of power flying, which are wells and shards flow into Font of Might, whose duration is being boosted by elemental time dilation, and the orbs will flow into Innervation, granting us additional grenade energy. If you're running the Monochromatic Maestro variant, you've thrown a stasis turret, which is freezing everything, creating even more shards, but then we'll activate Maestro, granting an additional 10% bonus damage to Aegers, then Aegers giving the bonus damage back to our abilities. Aegers is basically charging our super at light speed while this is happening, and once our super is charged, the fireworks really start. With our super charged, you're probably thinking like in Overwatch, hit Q to win the video game. Well, no. Our super is quite literally a damage tank. If you want to super, go ahead, but it's meh. Instead, with Font of Might active giving us 25% bonus damage, getting a kill with Aegers will activate a 20% bonus to damage with absorption cells on Mantle of Battle Harmony. So, Aegers is now pretty juiced, but if you find a yellow bar or champion and you want to hit him with the old delete key, hold reload and watch whatever you're aimed at disappear. In Will Given form, we instantly gain an 80% damage bonus, but with Font of Might active giving an additional 25% damage bonus, and Monochromatic Maestro adding another 10%, if your stasis turret is still off doing its thing, you finally land at a
Teagues, don't do it.
Oh shit, he's right. You land at a fair and balanced 147% bonus damage on Aegers.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
So yes, it deals a ton of damage, but it also drains your super. Well, you'll notice that the Aegers Mantle combo is the gift that keeps on giving, and your super will soon be topped off like it was. For this reason, I included the special finisher and restorative finisher combo if you want special ammo and ability energy to be always available, because, well, Aegers says, I understand you're low on super energy, please hold. Okay, good. Now, besides all of the juice that Aegers gets, your stasis heavy isn't left high and dry. My reads with Firing Line adding an additional 20% bonus damage, Absorption Cells adding 20%, Font of Might adding 25%, and Monochromatic adding 10%. Reads won't get 197%, but it'll have to settle for an almost 100% damage bonus. Poor reads. So guys, there is my most powerful Stasis Warlock build ever created. Honestly, it rivals Master of Chaos in terms of fun. I know it doesn't blow everything up, but watching Aegers act like a wood chipper to everything that stands in front of it is definitely as satisfying as it gets. Let me know what you all think of this one down in the comments down below, and what you want me to build next. If you guys enjoyed this Freezy Boy build, do me a huge favor, smash that like button and subscribe for future videos coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Thank you all for the continued love and support, and until the next one, I have been Teagues. You, as always, have been beautiful. Peace.